Hey everybody, Dr. John here. I want to talk today about a problem that I think is new and old at the same time. I think it's something that we've been dealing with as people for however long we've cared about our nutrition and fitness, but now I think in some ways it's maybe a little bit more challenging than it's ever been before. Our routines that we have are based on a lot of data. And they're based on data that we take, whether or not we're aware of it. We look at what works for us. We try lots of things. Maybe we've tried the Atkins diet, a low sugar diet. Maybe we've tried rowing, weightlifting. There's lots of different things that we've tried, and we sort of see what works for us and we adjust our routines accordingly. We're in a situation now where for most of us, our routines are totally nothing like what they've ever been before. We might not even have a routine at all. I know that I used to eat oatmeal either right before I left for work or when I would get to work. I know that for lunch, I would be in a rush. I would eat a yogurt. I know what I'd eat for dinner. I know when was the ideal time for me to go to the gym, when I would want to do cardio, when I would want to do strength training. At first, we sort of figured this new stay-at-home thing, it'll come and go, it'll be okay. This is not going anywhere, it seems, for a while. Even as we're adjusting and easing some of our restrictions, lots of our lives look very different in a lot of ways. I think it's time that we reassess our fitness and nutrition protocols that we have and try to adjust for the long haul until you can get back to whatever it was that you were doing. A big part of the way that I understand nutrition and fitness is that in all likelihood, there is nothing new that you need to know. I don't need to teach you anything that you don't know already. There is no new magazine that's going to give us the magic answers. No documentary on Netflix that's going to suddenly unlock the key to eating healthy. We know what we need to know. We know that we eat fruits and vegetables. We know that we eat natural things. We know that we try to exercise as much as possible, reduce processed things, reduce sugar. I think many of us know a lot of these things already. What we need to do is put things into new perspectives and set our goals differently. I want to talk about two concepts, and they're related. And they are called biological age and chronological age. Imagine you were on vacation and you were on the beach, and on the beach you didn't have your wallet on you, you didn't have any ID on you, and you were by yourself. And somehow you passed out and you were found and you were brought to the hospital. They don't know your name, they don't know your age, they don't know where you're from, they don't know your allergies, if you take any medications, what your grandparents' medical history was. They know nothing about you. If they were to do some imaging, they would do a CAT scan of your head, an EKG, see how your heart is functioning, complete blood work, test your kidney function. How old would they think you are based on the results of what your body is showing them? We can call that your biological age. It's just the age of which how your body is presenting. We can compare that to your chronological age, which is nothing more than how old you are on a calendar. There are 35-year-olds who have a chronological age of 35, but they have a biological age of 70. And maybe when they turn 37, they might get a heart attack. And then there are 75-year-olds that are doing Ironman competitions. If they were to show up in a hospital, their biological age might look like 40. I think the point there is pretty clear. The number on the calendar, how old we are, really doesn't matter all that much. It matters for screening things. But as far as our health, the way we treat ourselves, the way we eat, the way we exercise is a lot more important. The good news is it can change. You can test as a 20-year-old one day, and a few years later as a 50-year-old. You can test as a 60-year-old, and then a few years later as a 40-year-old. That's the good news. Don't worry about the chronological age. Focus on your biological age. We need to think about where we are going. We need to think about where we're headed. Recently, I changed my haircut. I used to have a little bit longer hair, and I shaved my head. And I shaved my head as I was inspired by Kobe Bryant. Now, not because Kobe Bryant shaved his head, but because Kobe Bryant, in his last game that he ever played in the NBA, he scored 61 points. How many people would retire after scoring 61 points? I know I wouldn't. If I ever scored 61 points, I'm playing again the next day. Kobe Bryant wanted to retire as a winner. He was not interested in going through this process that some athletes go through where they start to become old and tired and they can't produce quite as much. He wanted to go out a winner. Maybe it's a bit of a stretch, but that's what I wanted for my hair. I spent quite a few years looking at my hair and saying, oh, my hairline's receding, my hairline's receding. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna change my hairstyle now before I have to. Let's just embrace it. I'm gonna go for the bald, jacked guy look. My father, my uncles, my grandparents, none of them have any hair. I'm not gonna be any different. So as I'm looking towards the future, I'm thinking, where is my body going to be? What makes me feel good and what makes me happy? If I didn't have any hair, that's okay. There's other things that are more important, but I just think it's a good example. We need to start to think of our bodies and where our bodies are headed when we're making decisions about how we eat and how we exercise, and not just look at the day that's in front of me. I love to run. I love to play basketball. However, I've had my ACL repaired in my left knee 2 times. My father has had more knee surgeries than I can count. The writing is on the wall for my knees. And at this point, as much as I love basketball, and as much as I love to run, how I'm acting now, how is that going to affect me down the line? We don't all have nutritionists guiding our meals. Let's take a lacrosse team, and they are the best athletes in their class, and we're gonna feed them a diet of 80 grams of protein and 26 carbs for breakfast and 14 grams of fat dinner. These are all just, made up ideas, but the point is that they then test how do they do with that. And they say, oh, wow, they did pretty well. We don't all have chefs cooking for us 3 times a day. So if we try to do what they're trying to do, we might not have the same benefits. It's true. Running and jumping might be really good for my cardiovascular health. But if that leads to a knee injury in a year from now, and then I can't exercise anymore, what good is that gonna do for me? I started to ride a bike because that's what I can do for the long haul. What exercises can I do and enjoy for the next 50 years? I don't want to reinvent myself every 3 months. How can I eat consistently, not what diet can I do for the next 2 weeks while I'm on vacation to lose the quickest weight fastest, only to rebound that weight right afterwards. So to bring this back to adjusting your diet and exercise protocols during this stay-at-home time of our lives with coronavirus, a lot of the data collection that happened over years, we need to look back at our last couple of months and start to analyze it. How do we feel? Do we feel good? Do we feel better than we did 2 months ago? Do we feel stronger? How's our muscle tone? Do our clothes fit? Are we happy when we look in the mirror? Do we feel good as we go through our day? Just start to pay attention to a lot of these things. What have I been eating for breakfast? What have I been eating for lunch? What have I been eating for dinner? What exercise have I been doing? Have I been doing anything consistently at all? Has my eating routine been consistent at all? Just find out what it is. It doesn't matter if it's pretty. It doesn't matter if it's ugly. Just find out what it is. Write it down. Okay, today, it's Tuesday. I'm going to write down what I ate today. I'm going to write down what exercise I did today, what goals I have for myself. What am I going to do tomorrow? And then let's see, do we follow through? Let's see what habits we can do that we can be consistent with. Once we get all of that information, we can look at it and we can start to troubleshoot, and we can say, hey, it looks like I've been eating really, really healthy, but then every night at 10 o'clock at night, I tell myself I'm going to go into the kitchen for a healthy snack, but by the time I leave, I've eaten half a pack of Oreos and a full bag of pretzels and an apple with some peanut butter because protein. This doesn't happen overnight. These results and this information is not going to be instant. but I do think it's important that we start to reassess, how is this looking? And then I think we need to modify our goals. So what do I mean by modify our goals? It could be that prior to all this, we had a routine where we ate 1,800 calories a day. We exercised 45 minutes, 4 times a week. A couple of times a week, that was cardio. We went to CrossFit, and one day we just do a massive weightlifting session. We can't do all of those things anymore, and I think it's time for us to readjust and recalibrate what our routine is going to be. What seemed to work before coronavirus in terms of nutrition and fitness protocols, and then let's see if we can extrapolate and apply any of that information to how things look for us right now. I've had this more than one time where somebody close to me says, hey John, you know what? I know that I should be eating such and such way. I shouldn't be drinking this much alcohol. I know I should be exercising more, but guess what? I went to the doctor the other day and my blood work is perfect. So what I'm doing, it's working out for me. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but there is this issue that we consider our lab work and body health to be linear. If here is perfect health and here is a heart attack, my lab work would just start climbing. And then one day, if I don't get things under control, boom, I have a heart attack. It's not quite that simple. Fast food 3 times a day, drinking a ton of alcohol, smoking cigarettes, doing a whole bunch of other things, not exercising, and your lab work is okay, your BMI might be okay, and you are 30, 35, 40 years old, one day, all of that damage might just show up. It's not gonna give you an alert that says, hey, by the way, what you were doing for the last 30 years isn't working for you, and now it's time to make some changes, because if you continue at this rate, you're gonna get a big scare. We're not all that lucky. Big health problems and changes to how we feel and changes to how we function, they can come when we least expect it. It's really important for us to plan for the future. I'm not saying we don't enjoy our lives. I'm not saying we don't eat the things we like to eat. I'm not saying we don't do the exercise we like to do. Let's consider, is what I'm doing right now sustainable? What do I need to do for the next 10 to 15 years before I make a certain shift? Many of us are very extreme, and we are all or nothing with many parts of our lives. Much of my life, I've been very extreme with my eating routines and my fitness routines. I'm either going to the gym twice a day or I'm not going at all. I'm either eating 1,500 calories, the majority protein, very little carbs, lots of lettuce and spinach, or you know what? Let's go to Dunkin' Donuts. I need another bagel. It's very difficult to be in the middle. Go to the gym 3 times a week. For a lot of people, it's easier to go every single day at 6 a.m. or to not go at all. We are in this period of time where we have to realize an all or nothing approach is going to lead to nothing. We need to say, hey, you know what? That might be the ideal for me, but if I can't actually achieve it, I'm not gonna do it at all. Yeah, I'm not going to the gym today, but I could do 10 push-ups. It might not be my full 30-minute routine, but 10 push-ups is better than nothing. Be consistent about being moderate. Make it a little goal. I'm just gonna do a little bit. Even if you just do a little bit, that little bit will add up and you will build the discipline and the fortitude to make the decisions in the moment that you want to be making for yourself. There's nothing worse than wasted motivation. And unfortunately, I see it all the time. We go through a period where we do something, we're not so happy about it, and we come out of it angry or upset and we want to do better. Or maybe we're doing things great already and we meet somebody that's really, really inspiring. We hear an inspiring class. We witness a really great kindness. So we get these moments of motivation in our lives And then a lot of times what happens is we say, hey, this motivation is so great. I am going to fix the world. I am going to never eat junk food again. I am going to exercise 7 days a week. We have that motivation there, and that motivation truly inspires us to pick a really, really ideal but outrageous goal. And what happens? So over the weekend, I ate terribly. It was an extended holiday weekend. By Sunday night, I just feel terrible about it. So what do I say? Tomorrow, Monday, that's it. I am not drinking soda ever again. I am not having sugar ever again. I am gonna go to the gym for 90 minutes. I am going to run around the block, walk my dog. I am throwing out all the potato chips from the cabinet. And you know what? You might do it on Monday. You might do it on Tuesday. You probably aren't gonna do it on Wednesday. And by the weekend, you're eating the same exact way that you ate the previous weekend. That's wasted motivation. We go through these moments in our lives. We have this opportunity to really inspire ourselves to make a powerful change. I can do something small consistently, and I'm gonna get that down. I'll reassess the situation, and maybe I'll pick a new goal at that time. So for coronavirus, you know what? Maybe you've been eating waffles every day for breakfast, just like I have. I've been eating 2. I know that's not the healthiest food. So rather than saying, I am not gonna eat waffles anymore for breakfast throughout the rest of coronavirus, I might say, you know what? I'm gonna eat 1 waffle at breakfast every day. Is 1 waffle what is recommended based on studies? No. You probably shouldn't be having a waffle every single day, but it's certainly better than what I'm doing now. What I'm doing now is having 2 waffles every day. If I can move to 1 waffle every day, that's an improvement. Next week, I might pick a different goal. I might say to myself, you know what? I haven't really been exercising all that much. Previously, I was going to the gym almost every day for 45 minutes, and now my gym is closed. I don't have any weights because somebody went to the store and bought all of them, apparently. You know what? I am just gonna go for a 10-minute jog 3 times a week. And I'm gonna start right now. In a week from now, I can say, hey, did I do that? Did I go for that jog 3 times last week? And if I did, and it was 10 minutes long, I can say to myself, do I wanna do 15 minutes this coming week? Maybe I'll do 10 push-ups at the end of jogging. A lot of these goals might not be what your goals are. Maybe your goals will be loftier, or maybe they are a little bit less. But the point is the same. We need to figure out what we can do, what we can sustain, and realize that there's nothing to be embarrassed about if we choose a small goal. There's more to be proud of if you pick a goal and you reach that goal and you achieve that goal and you build on it. I lost 46 pounds in 3 years. I never really lost more than 1 pound a week. There were probably a couple months at a time that I didn't lose any. I didn't make any drastic changes. I just tackled small things bit by bit and continuously would chip away at them. As I accomplish one thing, I move on to the next one. A lot of small habits and small victories add up to a really, really big victory. Whatever those goals are for you, if you take really, really small changes, just say that's enough. I don't need to make a big change. A small change is still a move in the right direction. Reassess it in a week, see how you did. If you've been doing anything that you've found to be helpful while staying at home, please share and let us know. If you've been having success with anything, or if you've been having a difficult time with anything, let us know in the comments. I don't know everything, and I have a lot to learn myself. So I would love to know if you've got anything to teach me. I've got a lot more to say on the topic. We'll do part 2 of our coronavirus nutrition and fitness talk in a little bit.